But first, new at 11, Portsmouth city manager has resigned his position, the climax to a drama over a former fire chief hired for a taxpayer-funded position that wasn't even in the budget. 10 on your side's Andy Fox has been on this story since day one. Andy, what happened tonight?
Well, it's on the story since day one, and as we look back upon it, council members I spoke to said it was so unnecessary that Ken Chandler failed to communicate with the council, failed to communicate with the staff, and in the end failed to communicate with the media to let everyone know what is going on. Tell us about your resignation. Why are you resigning? Why are you offering your resignation? Why will you not put in writing how all this happened with Don Horton? Portsmouth City Manager Ken Chandler sealed his fate by refusing a council demand to put into writing how he brought back former Fire Chief Don Horton, who resigned. Not in writing, but during the council workshop session, he explained what happened verbally.
He did make contact with me and did express interest in possibly returning to the organization.
Chandler says Horton did that while on family medical leave, even though he had resigned. Chandler did not put Horton back in his old position because interim fire chief Beck Barfield was doing a good job as chief.
We noticed a great deal of camaraderie with his return.
Where Chandler failed the council was explaining why he brought back Horton as the Deputy Director of Emergency Management, which was not a funded position in the budget, then to move him to Deputy Chief of the Fire Department.
A working title. So currently the classification in the class and comp plan is Deputy Chief. The working title that we used was Deputy Director of Emergency Management.
Chandler failed to explain to everyone who asked that these two positions are basically the same position. The loudest Chandler critic is Councilman Bill Moody, who says Horton's resignation was a done deal.
There again, the chief communicated resignation. Once you resign, you're done. End of story.
And I understand what you're saying, sir, and I'm not here to debate your position.
It would appear Chandler's greatest failure was one of communication that ended up eroding his support on council. Mayor Kenny Wright. He offered his resignation. Did you all accept it?
Absolutely, we did. And at this time, I want to say to Mr. Chandler, I want to thank him for his years of service.
Did you buy the explanation?
No, I did not. I did not.
Yeah, but did you hear what Ken Chandler said to Bill Moody in that story? I'm not here to debate your position, but you are here, critics will argue, to defend and explain your position. And in the end, critics will say that's where Ken Chandler lost the confidence of City Council. And we asked, where's Don Horton after all of this? And still, Ken Chandler wasn't able to tell anyone where Don Horton is working now. In Portsmouth, Andy Fox. 10 on your side.
There is more to this story. That's why we have team coverage, which continues now. 10 on your side has learned that Ken Chandler is not leaving office empty-handed. The city is giving him nearly $200,000 in severance. 10 on your side's Jason Marks is here to break it down for us. Jason?
Yeah, Tom, $192,000 for his resignation. That money will be given to him all at one time. I can tell you there are a lot of taxpayers who are upset to hear that.
The total package is $192,000 per year.
In a room packed with taxpayers, the announced compensation for outgoing city manager Ken Chandler did not go over well.
From the very top to the bottom of the lowest flat rock, our city has problems.
Chandler resigned after he came under fire with the rehiring of former Fire Chief Don Horton. The council voted 7-0 to accept his resignation. But when it came to accepting his severance package, Bill Moody and Vice Mayor Charles Whitehurst voted against it.
The city needs a new city government, that's all. New city council and everything.
The nearly $192,000 severance package breaks down like this. Chandler will get 1 year's salary at $164,000, $14,000 for retirement, $9,600 for a car allowance, and an additional $3,600 for expenses. He'll be given that money in one lump sum this January.
That's tax dollars coming out of our pockets and giving to him. He ain't worth doing nothing.
The word of the manager's resignation is quickly spreading from the chamber to the streets.
Bananas. That's not right. That's too much going on, going too many places. It's not right.
Yeah, so it's your money.
Was my money. Now it's his money.
He should resign. I'm pleased he's resigned, but we need to get somebody who is more involved.
And I've been to a lot of Portsmouth City Council meetings in my time here, and I've never seen the council chambers as full as it was tonight. Many of the speakers are not just unhappy with this whole Chandler ordeal, but they're also unhappy with the council in general. Many of them said tonight they plan to take their unhappiness to the polls in November. In the newsroom, Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
And current Deputy City Manager Brandon Godfrey will take over for Chandler in the interim. Godfrey has worked for the city since 2009. He does have experience as a city manager. He held that position in both Emporia and Winchester, Virginia. He'll be sworn in tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Here's how we got to where we are. Don Horton resigned as fire chief back in July, and the city announced that Horton was on family medical leave. Then last week, then City Manager Ken Chandler announced a new position for Horton, Deputy Director of Emergency Management, the pay $98,000 a year. Then this week, Chandler learned that Horton can't have that job because it is not part of the budget. And then tonight, Ken Chandler resigns from Portsmouth City Government.